everybody, it's your friend Pastor Jonathan. Hey, if you're a boy out there and you can hear my voice, I want you to say, yo! And if you're a girl out there and you can hear my voice, I want you to say, what's up? Very, very nice. You guys are really cool. Hey, welcome back to Reactions 101. And speaking of reactions, what did you guys think of that fire snake experiment? It just kept growing and growing and growing, and the more it grew, the nastier and scarier it became. Now, I have a question for you. Have you ever had a nasty feeling that just kept growing and growing and growing on the inside like a scary fire snake? If you have, I want you to turn to your neighbor and say, mm-hmm. This one time, I had a nasty feeling on the inside about my friend Miles. Now, here's what you need to know about Miles, okay? Miles had every toy ever. When you walked into his room, it was like walking into a toy store, all right? And not only that, he had a whole room full of arcade games, and when he went outside, he had this giant trampoline. He had everything that I ever wanted, but he didn't care. He was just like, oh yeah, it's a toy, I got it for Christmas, whatever. The arcade games are kind of cool, beep, boop, beep, boop. On that trampoline, it's okay. And I'm like, come on, Miles! And as that jealousy grew on the inside, I started to get a little bit of a nasty attitude on the outside. Now, that's kind of the problem with jealousy. You see, when you're jealous of what other people have, you can't see the good things that you have. See, I had plenty of my own toys, boys and girls, and I even had things that Miles didn't have, but I couldn't see them. All that I could see was what I didn't have. Now, speaking of wanting what you can't have, I want to talk a little bit more about our friend Peter from the Bible. We've been talking about Peter a lot, and what we know already is that Peter is a student of the best teacher ever, Jesus. Now, even though Peter had the best teacher, he still made a lot of mistakes, boys and girls. And when I talk about mistakes, I'm not talking about like little tiny spill your lemonade on the counter mistakes. I'm talking about like huge, explosive mistakes. Now, here's some of the stuff Peter did wrong. You ready? He cut off somebody's ear. Pretty big mistake right there. He almost drowned. Not good, Peter, not good. And he told people he didn't know Jesus 3 different times. I mean, he was a liar. He made a ton of mistakes. But today, I want to talk about a tiny mistake. One little reaction that could have turned Peter's attitude into a nasty, scary fire snake. So Peter wasn't the only student of Jesus. There were 12 other disciples that went wherever Jesus went. And one of them was named John. Now, guess what? Peter was super duper duper jealous of John. Say that with me. Super duper duper jealous of John. Now, why do you think Peter was so jealous of John? Was it because John had more toys? No, I don't think so. But the Bible does tell us one reason that would have led to Peter's jealousy. Now, imagine you and your friend are walking with Jesus, and one day you hear that Jesus has given your friend a new nickname, and that nickname is the one who Jesus loves. Wouldn't you be like, come on, Jesus, don't you love me? I'm feeling a little left out here. I'm feeling a little jealous. That's not cool. Raise your hand if you'd feel just a little jealous if your friend got that nickname instead of you. Yeah, me too. So here's what happened. Peter started to do all sorts of things that would compare him to John so that he could prove he was better. When they heard that Jesus had risen from the dead, they ran to his tomb, but they didn't just run, they raced, because Peter wanted to prove that because he was faster than John, he was better than him. Come on, Peter. There was another time where Peter was talking to Jesus, and he wanted Jesus to tell him what John's life looked like so he could make sure his life would be better. But here's what Jesus said. None of that matters, Peter. Come on, you can say that with me. None of that matters, Peter. It doesn't matter who got to the tomb first. It doesn't matter who's stronger or faster or smarter or what kind of nickname you have. Why? Because Jesus had died and resurrected for John and for Peter. He died and resurrected for me and for Miles and for all of you, which means we all have the exact same amount of blessing. So boys and girls, here's what we can do when we feel that nasty feeling of jealousy welling up inside of us. We can fight it with gratitude. Everybody say, gratitude. Good job. Now, boys and girls, in case you hadn't noticed, this is a beautiful looking candy cake, and it belongs to me. That's right, all the candy on this cake belongs to me. Every Starburst, every Skittle, every Airhead, it's all mine, which is amazing until this happens. Now, that's one blue lollipop, and it doesn't belong to me. But if it's all that's dangling in front of my face, it's really hard not to think about. I have everything I need over this way, but this one lollipop that isn't mine has the ability to distract me and make me think, oh no, what if I don't get that blue lollipop? What if that's all I really wanted? What if the one thing I want is the one thing I can't have, and I'm gonna be miserable, and I'm gonna be sad, and I'm gonna have a terrible life? Ah! Now raise your hand, your left hand, if you think I should push all this stuff off the table and try my very best to chase after the one thing that I can't have. Go ahead. Okay, now raise your right hand if you think, you know what, I should just ignore this lollipop over here because I got all the candy I could ever need. Right hand, go ahead. Very interesting, very interesting. I think the choice is simple, boys and girls, but it's not easy because jealousy can keep you really, really distracted. But that's where being grateful comes in handy, because when we feel jealousy pulling us this way, we can turn to all the things God has given us. Now for me, it's a delicious candy cake, but for you it could be parents who love you, a place like the Zone where you can go to learn, maybe shoes on your feet, or a roof over your head, or a really comfy bed, or maybe some friends that you like and food that you eat. When you really try to be grateful and count all of those blessings, you realize, wow, I have a lot of cool stuff. Like maybe too much cool stuff to even count. So boys and girls, the next time you feel that nasty feeling rising up, that fire snake kind of feeling, I want you to stop for just one moment and remember this verse. Proverbs 14, verse 30. A heart at peace gives life to the body, but envy or jealousy rots the bones. So boys and girls, take a second to find the good. When you feel that jealousy rising up in you, make sure you count your blessings, because I promise you, you will be surprised at how many you find. Let Jesus teach you how to be grateful. Let Jesus blow your mind. Oh yeah, it is time for our big idea, boys and girls. Are you ready? If you're ready, say I'm ready. If you're ready, stand up on your feet, stretch your arms, stretch your legs, stretch your toes, stretch your fingers, stretch your earlobes. All right, you guys ready? On the count of 3, let's do it. 1, 2, 3. Let Jesus blow your mind.